Howdy everyone and welcome back to another box office breakdown. Let's face it you guys, we know this is the calm before the storm. Next weekend Dune 2 comes out and is projected to make between $60 to $80 million, but come on, with the reviews coming out, it'll probably make more. Thank God too, because the theaters are very much in need of a major hit, with some films featured in this video being major flops. While we've had at least 2 films overperform in 2024, the box office on the whole has been pretty ho-hum so far. We haven't gotten a blockbuster quite yet, which I will say it's kind of normal for at least January to not have a big hit, but the fact that we had to lump February into that camp this year spells danger for theater chains. But anyway, let's start on the box office in the whole before diving deeper into the performance of a few movies. This weekend at number 1 we had Bob Marley One Love repeat, making another $13.5 million. At number 2 it was Demon Slayer, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce the rest of the title, at $11.5 million. Number 3 was Ordinary Angels with $6.5 million. Number 4, Madam Web with $6 million in its second weekend. Number 5 was Migration with $3 million. Number 6, Argyle, flop, taking in $2.8 million. Number 7, Wonka at $2.5 million. Number 8, Drive Away Dolls with $2.4 million. The Beekeeper at number 9 with another $1.9 million. Then episodes 4 through 6 of The Chosen getting $1.8 million, rounding out the top 10. Okay, let's focus in on Bob Marley One Love first. Making $13.5 million domestically this weekend, it brings its worldwide total up to $120 million off of a budget of just $70 million. Obviously, the movie has marketing expenses and the theaters need to get their cut, so the film needs to make roughly $140 million worldwide to break even for the studio, and at this point, I think it's gonna get there. It'll have a tough road ahead because March has a lot more new releases coming out that people are anticipating, such as Dune 2 or Kung Fu Panda 4, but with the audience reception it's been receiving, I think it'll still get some love. This movie is a little bit of a surprising win at the box office for me though. I didn't particularly like the trailers released supporting this film, and after the Rotten Tomatoes critic score came out, I felt like this would be the type of movie that just comes and goes, but it looks like audiences still love their musical biopics, and Kingsley Ben-Adir's turn as Bob Marley had people coming to the theaters. For a movie coming out the same weekend as a superhero film, it's absolutely overperformed in my opinion, and is one of 2 movies that I would say is a hit this year, the other one being The Beekeeper. At number 2 we had the third film in the Demon Slayer franchise, and you'll have to forgive me because I'm not a big anime guy, but I feel like anytime these films are released here in the States, they do fairly well. With the first Demon Slayer film opening up to $21 million in its opening weekend over here in the States, and the second one that came out last year opening up to $10 million. I feel like at this point, we're truly getting a feel for what to expect when those films release over here. Now, that first Demon Slayer film was a gigantic hit, bringing in over $500 million worldwide between 2020 and 2021. You could chalk that up to audiences being hungry for a film post-pandemic and it actually being good for those big fans, but it's clear now with the consistency between 2 and 3 that while it's a niche audience for sure that are interested in this series of films, it's a dedicated one that will show up to the theater. One thought I have about films like this is if it'll get repeat showings after the first weekend. Like, has everyone that is interested in the film already gone and seen it? Will we see a steep drop-off next weekend? I could only find data regarding opening weekend for the second film, so we'll have to just wait and see. But for now, I think that we can expect more Demon Slayer films, or at least more anime films, to be released over here in the States because they continue to perform pretty well. Number 3 was Ordinary Angels, a new release starring 2-time Academy Award winner Hilary Swank and Jack Reacher star Alan Ritchson, about a hairdresser who tries to help a widowed father who loses his daughter during a snowstorm. It's based on a true story, it has good talent, it has good reviews, but I'll be honest you guys, I haven't seen a single trailer for this film, and I go see a lot of movies. This one flew under the radar, so $6.5 million on weekend 1 isn't shocking. It is questionable why the studio didn't invest more in the marketing for this film, considering that apparently they had a good film on their hands with talent behind it, but with a price tag of only $12 to $13 million, maybe they just felt like they didn't have to market it out that much in order to get their return back. But at this point, I feel like like it'll be a little bit more difficult for them. I feel like they should be able to get the return back with the budget being that low, but you honestly never know. March, like I said before, has a lot of great releases coming out, and nobody really knows about this movie. I mean, how many of you knew that this movie was coming out in over 3,000 theaters this weekend? You didn't? Yeah, me neither. This will drop to the latter half of the top 10 next weekend, and then I'm sure we're all just gonna forget about it. At number 4, we had a catastrophic flop, Madame Web, dropping 61% in its second week. It would feel like dancing on a grave at this point, so let me keep this brief. Sony had it coming. They had it coming when they spent $80 million on a movie that had the writers of Morbius behind it. This film has made $77 million worldwide, a superhero film. That is absolutely terrible. And if you're thinking that means that it'll be close to making a profit with just its $80 million budget, you'd be wrong. They had a big marketing campaign, which isn't taken into consideration when you're talking about the budget. Plus, the theaters get a cut of that box office as well. So when it's all said and done, this will be a major loser for Sony. It makes you think about how they'll approach this universe no one cares about if Kraven and Venom 3 both suck and flop as well. Even if those films come out and are just okay, it'll probably not be enough. They need no less than 2 big hits to spur off of if they want a small chance at saving this franchise of theirs. It's a terrible movie. I'd imagine it'll be out of the top 10 very soon. Drive Away Dolls was a new release this weekend, opening up to a Rotten Tomatoes score of 66% and only making $2.4 million. This film seems like another victim of the streaming age that we live in, where audiences aren't gonna pay $15 to go see a film that looks like it could be on streaming in a few months, unless it's great. We've seen it with many comedies over the years that have been decent but not amazing. I mean, even the great ones like Joyride that came out last year don't get returns. Right now, audiences are saving their money for new releases coming out very soon, or they just flat out didn't know this movie existed. Or maybe they did know the movie existed, but after seeing it wouldn't be on streaming, lost all interest. Also, I didn't know this until writing for this video, but did y'all know this film was directed by Ethan Coen of the Coen Brothers? The guy who made No Country for Old Men, True Grit, Oh Brother Where Art Thou, Fargo. That? Ethan Coen? Like, why am I just now learning this? I feel like that's what you lean on in the marketing. Holy crap. I can't find any data about this film's budget, but I would imagine it probably wasn't less than $2.4 million, so hopefully this won't be a major flop for one half of the best directing duo of all time. Those were really all the major stories I wanted to cover today. I know we're all just excited for next weekend, myself included. It should be a huge boost to the box office, and rightfully so. But that's everything I got today. Thank you so much for watching the video, and don't forget to subscribe if you like this, and I'll see you next time. Bye.